Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we are going to create two more functions which are going to be the most important and useful functions, which is nothing but append to file function and delete file function. So as I earlier mentioned, what we need to do is that we actually need to create two files, the q.txt and crawl.txt. So what the crawler is going to do is that initially it's going to look for a link in the q.txt file. So it's going to take that link, crawl that link, and extract all the links from that particular page and store them in a queue. So this operation is nothing but it's actually called as an append operation, that is basically to open up a file and write contents to that particular file without deleting the previous contents. So in order to specially perform this append operation, we are going to write in a new function which is append to file function. And one more function which we need is the delete file function, which basically deletes the contents of a particular file. So these are the two things which we need to do, and we actually need to write functions for them so that we could reuse the code whenever we want. So what we do here is that we first create the append to file function. So we go right over here and you could type in def, name it as append to file, and here you could pass in the path of that particular file and the data which you want to append. So it's similar to the write file function, but it's somewhat different. Like what the write file function does is that it opens up the file and writes in entirely new content by deleting the previous content. But the append to file function is actually going to append the content, that is, it's not going to delete the previous content. So without even deleting the previous content, it's actually going to write the content to the file. But this thing is going to be similar, that is, with open we are also going to pass in the path, and instead of the write mode we actually open this file up in the append mode and we type as f, and then we type in f.write, and that's actually going to write the data to the file. And at the end of the file we actually want a /n, and what this /n actually does is that it actually makes sure that once the data is written to the file, the new data which is written to that particular file is written on a next line. So /n actually stands for a next line or the new line, so make sure that you include that thing, or else your data is actually going to be printed in the single line itself. So make sure that you include that thing, and once you are done with this function you are pretty much good to go. So let's write the new function, which is delete file contents function. So let me just type in def delete file contents, and this is also going to accept a path, but it's not going to accept the data because we are not writing any data over here. And the first thing which we do is that we open up the file, so that is basically passing up the path over here, and we basically write to the file, and we usually write nothing, and we finally close up the file. So once this thing is done, we are pretty much good to go. So we have successfully created the append to file function and the delete file function. So that's it for this lecture, and in the next lecture we are going to create a few more functions. And the reason for creating so much functions is that we actually need to make use of these functions a number of times. So rather than directly writing the code multiple number of times, it's always better to have your program in terms of functions and use them whenever you need. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.